What payments are due to the dead and wounded in Ukraine? According to news sources, payments to the victims in Ukraine will amount to more than 12.4 million rubles. In addition, families will be able to issue monthly compensation. Payments to the wounded in Ukraine will be equal to about 2.9 million rubles if they are found unfit for service. Additional payments in the amount of 3 million are provided. Wounded benefits and security will be paid according to the statement of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Earlier, the country's leader stated that lump sum benefits would be transferred to members of military families who died in Ukraine or were injured. In addition, the families of the dead and wounded in Ukraine will be able to receive monthly compensation. It is planned to transfer a payment for the families of the victims in 2022 in the amount of 7.4 and 5 million rubles. The total amount will be more than 12 million rubles. Federal payments to relatives of deceased servicemen. Earlier, the media reported that each family of a military man who died in Ukraine during the operation will be able to receive more than 7 million rubles. The corresponding instruction was given by Russian President Vladimir Putin. It is noted that in case of injury to health injury, payment is also due. Close relatives of deceased military personnel in Ukraine will be able to receive benefits in the amount of 7.4 and 5 million rubles. The total amount will be 12.4 million, which is paid once. Each of the relatives from the established list, parents, spouses, children, will be able to receive an additional payment. Russian leader Vladimir Putin said earlier that it is required to assign additional payments to each family of the deceased in Ukraine from the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, employees of other law enforcement agencies. It will amount to 5 million rubles. Contract servicemen who participated in the special operation and were wounded will receive insurance and injury benefits. It is paid once. Federal payments to wounded servicemen. Russian leader Vladimir Putin earlier signed a decree on additional social guarantees for Russian military personnel who were injured or killed. According to this document, families in case of death or injury of a military man can receive a payment. It is put once. It is noted that the receipt of payments established by the decree is not taken into account when establishing the right to receive other benefits under the laws of the Russian Federation. If a serviceman is unfit for further service due to his injuries, he will be paid an allowance, the amount of which is more than 2.9 million rubles. If he receives a disability due to an injury, he will receive a monthly compensation. Regional payments to the families of deceased servicemen from Moscow. According to news sources, at the 19th meeting of the Moscow City Duma, a law was passed according to which the families of the deceased military in Ukraine can receive additional payments of 3 million rubles. The Minister of Social Development of the Moscow region, Lyudmila Boletayeva, commented that a widow, as well as a child and a mother, the father of the deceased, will be able to receive benefits. The requirement to receive payment is accommodation in the Moscow region or the presence of registration at the location of military units. If the deceased has several relatives, the payment is set in equal shares for each of them. It will be directed at the regional level. It is emphasized that the State Duma adopted a law according to which the participants of the special operation in Ukraine will be recognized as combat veterans. What benefits will military personnel be able to receive? Payments that are due once and or every month. Tax benefits. Free travel in some types of public transport. Receiving medical care out of turn. Provision of vouchers to health resorts. Discounts when paying for housing and communal services. It is reported that the Moscow region introduces a benefit to the families of the deceased Russian military in Ukraine. You can make a payment once. A similar initiative was made by Governor Andriy Vorobyov. The regional allowance in the Moscow region will amount to 3 million rubles. It is noted that currently there is a unified system of legal and social protection for military personnel. According to news sources, an employee under a contract receives a salary with allowances for years of service, special conditions of service, qualifications, work with information that is a secret. Employees under the contract are provided with free travel on a business trip. The military is provided with things, food, residential real estate. Compulsory insurance is carried out at the expense of the federal budget. A serving soldier or officer receives guarantees, compensation in case of an emergency. In case of death or injury, the family will receive payment. Citizens serving under the contract are entitled to free treatment and rehabilitation in military medical organizations, as well as dispensary supervision, provision of medicines if the employee is injured. Pension provision is provided for a length of service of 20 years or more.